What's going on, guys? Synthetic Hydra here with another deck profile. This time I have a Lorcana list. I've been playing it pretty recently after like late into set 3, start of set 4. I'm gonna make more Yu-Gi-Oh content too. If you want to watch me on Twitch, I've been streaming Yu-Gi-Oh there still for the returning viewers. But this is the list that I've played for the last 2 events. It's based on the Luca list very heavily. And I got first place at the Daydream Games Store Championship, first place at the Blade Gaming Championship, and third, fourth at the R&B Games Championship. But anyway, getting into the deck profile, we start with 4 Chernobog's followers. This is the best one drop in purple right now. The trick to using them is that you want to try and keep them alive as much as possible. A lot of the time you can get like 2 or 3 lore off of him. He's my only 1 drop. For my 2s, I have 4 Flynn Rider. He is the new like best win con of the deck versus like Sapphire decks. When you're being like a proactive aggro roll, he's like your best guy. I've got 4 Madam Mim Snakes. They are your value, you bounce. You don't play it on turn 2 a whole lot, but it rebuys all your enter the battlefield effects. Other part of the aggro roll of the deck, we have 4 Sisu. This is also a new card out of set 4. It gets really big, which combos with your Flynn Rider. While you have the biggest creature on board, you can gain 3 lore at the start of turn. And then this also quests for 2. It's got a big body, so it can control the board. It's just a very good card. Next, we have the Mim Foxes. Like the previous Mim, bounces your stuff back to hand to get the replay on them. It's also got 4 power and rush, so in the mirror a lot of the times you can bash a castle for 3 or something and then do this to get the remaining 4, and then it can come down and trade with something to like stabilize the board more. I'm on 4 Maleficents. I think this card's really important right now versus like Green Steel, and then it's also just a body that you can play out and draw cards. It sings your friends on the other side, which we'll get to later. It's a very good card. I didn't want to cut it below 4. The last change I was going to make was going to be cut one of these for the second crab, which I think is in line with Luca's list. And then I have the crab. I have the one of. It's really good in the mirror match because it lets you take out the castles with the Challenger 3. It's not super good in a lot of other places, so I just have the one of. In the mirror match, you're drawing a bunch of cards, so eventually you will see this, hopefully. Then this is like one of the best cards in the deck. This is your Merlin Rabbit. On play, when he leaves, you draw a card. 2, 3, 4. Play him. He sings a song next turn. You can bounce him back to hand, replay him. This is just like your value guy. Your other Merlin Goat. This is how you close out games a lot of the time. For Magic, if you played like Bolt, Snap, Bolt, it's kind of like Goat, Madam Mim, Goat, which is 10 ink for the 2 drop or 11 ink for the 3 drop. But with that, you gain 3 lore just out of nowhere. This one also sings songs. It's 4, so it's a big body. Then we have 4 Queen's Castle. This is like one of your main win cons in like the blue matchups or like late game and other matchups. It's how you close out games. You gain 2 lore every turn. It has 7 toughness, so just a single Maui can't take it out. It's inkable if you really need to. I don't like to ink them, but like early game, sometimes you have to. And also if you have excess ink, you can move characters here, and then for each character here, you get to draw a card. For the 5 drops, I've got Maui. He's a big 6/5 rush reckless. He comes in, he kills something. If he lives and gets to kill something, he's a 2 for 1, so that's pretty good. He can also sing songs if there's nothing to attack with him. You can bounce him to hand, and sometimes that's good, like in the mirror match, but he's pretty good. Then for the 6s, we have 3 Medusa and 1 Tremaine. These serve similar roles. They're big bodies that you put on board, and this one hits any 3 power or less card, and this one just makes the opponent sacrifice a creature. So this one is really good for dealing with like specific stuff like Hiram in the item decks, or mainly Diablo and like the green decks, Rabbits in the purple decks. She's just really good and versatile. Also hits Robin Hood, Beast. She's got a lot of good target. This is like the Doomblade test in Magic. If it dies to Medusa, whatever. And then Tremaine mainly shines versus the blue decks, because you can play her. If they have the big crab on board, you can make them sacrifice it. Or sometimes it just hits like a big Tinkerbell or something like that versus Blue Steel. Or post to Be Prepared, it hits like their 1 threat they play, and then you have a 2 quester. For the actions, we have 4 Brawl. This is one of the most versatile actions in the game. It deals with the cards you need to, like Diablo, Hiram, and it can hit rabbits if they leave them out exposed. This card's just really good. It's inkable if it's not useful, so I would never not play 4 of these. For my songs, I have 4 friends on the other side. This is Arcane Intellect from Hearthstone, Pot of Greed from Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. Just draw 2 cards. You can sing it for free, so this pairs really good with like Maleficent. You play a Maleficent, next turn you tap it, your friends draw 2. Then we have 4 Be Prepareds. This is just like your Wrath of God, board white, kills all creatures. It costs 7, so it's a lot and it's uninkable, but this is like one of the most important cards of the deck. Protects your castles, it just clears the board so you can start drawing more cards with Rabbit. It's just a really good card. I was playing 3, I think 4 is necessary with green still in existence, because like a lot of the times you just want to top deck this and then wipe the board and then you can stabilize or try to. And the final 3 cards are Be King Undisputed. This one just makes them sacrifice a creature. It's really good because it's a song that can be sang with your rabbits. So like you can play Rabbit on 4, next turn tap it to sing a Be King, and then Be King kills something and you have 5 mana to play with. You like play a Mim, bounce your Rabbit, play a 3-drop or something. This is mainly just for tempo. It's pretty good in the blue decks if they just ram out a crab not respecting this. But I know the blue steel decks are moving towards a more like creature focused thing with like the 4/1 for 1. But this card's still good. And that was my deck list. Like I said, I was pretty happy with it. Previously I was playing minus these for more 1-drops, the Magic Broom. It was okay, but I don't like it into green steel because versus green steel you're not really playing creatures out on 2, so it kind of just like is there, or you play out a Flynn and it gets Let the Storm Raged on or whatever. So I like these just as like one of cards to dig for, and like the matchups they're good. As for the matchups, versus the Mirror, you'll shift your role depending on the board state, but in general, you want to be drawing as many cards as possible, bouncing your Rabbit, replaying your Rabbit. On the play, you can use Flynn and Sisu to be more aggressive. You want to be holding your Mauis as long as possible for the enemy castles, and you want to be especially wary of your castle. If they have even another creature on board, they can play the Maui out and just eat your castle. And as such, if you wait until you can play 2 castles, a lot of the time, one of them or both of them will be safe, especially if like the board is very light. If there's a creature, one might get taken out if they have a Maui, but pending cards in hand, it might be worth just ramming out double castles. For Be Prepared, I like to hold it as long as I can, so that way I'm using my mana more proactively than my opponent. As for the green steel matchup, you are 100% all in on drawing cards, so you want to be drawing with your Maleficents, your Rabbits, even like casting Friends is fine, but obviously it's preferable if you can see enough Maleficent. Be careful if you're going second playing a Chernabog on turn 1. If they start with Diablo or the 1-drop Flynn Rider, they can sing Let the Storm Rage on and kill it. Mulligan decisions, you want to try to have as many draw cards as possible, and also a Brawl. Especially the Brawl, if you're stuck with just draw cards, if they stick a Diablo, you'll just lose. Your Flynns and Sisus, a lot of the time you don't even want to cast a Flynn, and Sisu you don't play until like later, so you'll just be inking those. Eventually you'll hit 7 ink, and at that point you can cast your Be Prepared, which is the key to like stabilizing the matchup. They won't have a lot of cards in hand, you'll wipe the board. You've been drawing cards, so you'll probably have like 4 or 5 cards, even through a Bucky. Alternatively, there are some game states I find myself in where I can control the board with like just Mauis, Medusas, etc., and then you can hold it a little longer, but be wary that this can be taken from Medusa. And there are other board states where you just have to get a little lucky and draw into your Be Prepared, which is why I think 4 is necessary to play. Versus Ruby Sapphire, you are the aggro deck. You want to do your 1-drop, your Flynn, your Sisu. Castle's really good here. They can take it out with Maui plus a body, so if they have like a Hiram or a Tala or something on board, be wary of playing your castle. Eventually you'll get in the goat range and be able to like goat, bounce goat, and if you can protect multiple castles, obviously it's good. Be King and Tremaine also shine here as being able to take out the Tamatoa as long as they don't have another guy on board, which you could probably kill with Medusa or Brawl. Versus Sapphire Steel, once again, if you're on the play, Flynn Sisu is pretty good, but they have the RG 2-drop 4/1 that sometimes can turn off your Flynn, and they can trade into Sisu. Sometimes you can like bait them attacking into Sisu to stick a castle, which they have outs to castle too with the Rise of the Titans. Once again, it's a Tamatoa deck, so your Be Kings, your Tremaines can take that out. You have Medusas, Brawls for the Hirams. If they're on the whole New World variant though, be wary theory of having a big hand, because they'll make you discard it and then draw a new 7. So it's best to play out your guys. Okay, I guess that's about it for now. Thank you for watching the video. I hope that this helps you in the remaining store championships this season. And if you liked it, leave a like, subscribe. I'm going to try and do Lorcana content and also get back to Yu-Gi-Oh content too. I've been streaming on Twitch if you want to watch me stream there. I was going to start streaming Pixelborn also, but of course they canceled that. So I'll see what I can do about that. But anyway, thank you again. I'll see you next time.